well. I'm gonna tell you about the coming of the judgment. Fairly well, fairly well. There's a better day a-coming. Fairly well, fairly well. There's a better day a-coming. Fairly well, fairly well. In that great getting up morning. Fairly well, fairly well. In that great getting up morning. Fairly well, fairly well. When you see the lightning a-flashing. Fairly well, fairly well. When you hear the thunder crashing. Fairly well, fairly well. When you see the stars a-falling. Fairly well, fairly well. When you hear the chariot calling. Fairly well, fairly well. I'm gonna ride the chariot in the morning, Lord. I'm gonna ride the chariot in the morning, Lord. I'm getting ready for the judgment day, my Lord, my Lord. I'm gonna ride the chariot in the morning, Lord. I'm gonna ride the chariot in the morning, Lord. I'm getting ready for the judgment day, my Lord, my Lord. In that great getting up morning, fairly well, fairly well. In that great getting up morning, fairly well, fairly well. When you see the lightning flashing, when you hear the thunder crashing, when you see the stars a-falling, when you hear the chariots calling. Good news, chariots coming. Good news, chariots coming. So glad chariots coming. Don't want to be left out.
There's a long white robe in heaven, I know.
Long white robe in heaven, I know. Long white robe in heaven, I know. I said good news.
Hi, welcome to Verse of the Day. I'm Brandon Hathaway, the preacher at the Westside Church of Christ in Owensboro, Kentucky. I want to thank you for joining me today as we continue our study throughout Revelation. Continue to read the Bible, and of course I've been picking out a verse or two out of the chapters that we read throughout the day, and I want to thank you for joining me in doing that. Always encourage you to read the rest of the chapter. We're getting into some more of that have to pay attention, harder stuff to interpret here in Revelation, and so trying to find a verse that can be decently explained just within a few minutes here on my verse of the day has been fun for this chapter. So, good morning to Fred and Dennis. But, we're looking at Revelation chapter 8 is where we're at. Revelation chapter 8. I chose verses 2 and verse 6. And we'll go ahead and look at those, and I'll talk a little bit about this and the rest of the chapter a little bit. So verse 2, it says, "And I saw the 7 angels who stand before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets. So the 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound." And so what I was focused on when I was reading through this, and of course, like I said, trying to find scriptures that I can easily take time, not too much time to sit here and explain. And I look at this and to think about the trumpets. Of course, you have the 7 angels were given the 7 trumpets, and then the 7 angels stood prepared to blow in the trumpets, to sound out the trumpets. And so we have to ask ourselves what trumpets were used for during this time frame. As we read throughout the Bible, what were the trumpets used for? And there's a few answers that you could actually bring out in that. Of course, one is music, that they simply played it. But when we consider the king or the leader, master, God, having trumpets being blown, you'd have someone who maybe, if you were inside the kingdom and you're inside the walls of that kingdom, they would blow the trumpet and to prepare people, saying people are coming against us, to warn everybody, to set guard, and that'd be a reason to blow the trumpet. Another reason to blow the trumpet, it would be maybe in retreat. You're in battle and you don't see things are going well, so you'd have them blow the trumpet and they would retreat. They would follow him back. They would, you'd have a sound of retreat. But I believe it more accurate as we read through the rest of the chapter here, as the first trumpet is blown, the second trumpet, the third trumpet, all the way down to the seventh, of all the things that actually take place. It's more of a charge that we're reading about here, that they're calling these things to take place, to go forth, to prepare them to go forth. And so I believe that's why they blow the trumpets, is to sound it out. People hear it, and that's the sound of these things to begin, to go, and to take place. And then the only other things that I can really bring out as we go through this, of course, you can go through and study the trumpets, each trumpet as it's blown, and what took place. But the verses between 2 and 6 has the no, it's not. Do they actually say incense on this? Yeah, incense. The incense and prayers. As I was looking into that, it's a lot of things that are really similar to what had taken place under the Old Testament, as they had incense of prayers and prayers that were made up to the Lord following the old customs. And so you can look, I believe, reference some of the things in Leviticus that are similar to that. And so that'd be similar to seeing those things that had taken place then. So again, I encourage that you read it, and as I'm going through it, I'm trying to make sure I interpret right as I prepare myself to do these verses a day and going over through these things. It's good to make sure you don't push off too much of not studying the harder things, because if you do, then you get a little rusty on going back to them. And so, I'd be more than willing to help. It's not one of those topics that I'd be fast at, but I'd be more than happy to discuss any of these things with you as you're reading through it, because I know that they are a little harder to figure out what exactly is going on and taking place. But I encourage that you still go ahead and forth and read it. Maybe get yourself a commentary and read through it and see if it helps you understand it a little bit better. But I want to thank you for joining me, and tomorrow we'll look at Revelation chapter 9. I'll talk to you later.